You died.
I have 9 lives.
And how many times have you died already?
No! Puss in Boots doesn't need a spotter. Watch! Watch! A cat always lands on his feet. Watch!
You are down to your last life.
On this edition of Talking About the Movies, I'm catching up on films from late in the year that I didn't get a chance to see. And starting it off, we have the latest adventure from the Shrek series, the second installment of the Puss in Boots series, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Welcome to another edition of Talking About the Movies, and we're kind of in the point of the year where not a whole lot of new movies are coming out, so I figured why not use this time to look back on some movies that I didn't get a chance to see. And there were two movies in particular that I talked about on my Best of the Year list that I did not get a chance to see before I made the list. One of them was The Fabelmans, which I'm going to get to see at some point, but the other movie I wanted to talk about was Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. This was a movie I really wanted to see, but I didn't get a chance to see it in theaters during the holidays, and I finally got to see it yesterday, and now I can finally talk about it. But before I do, I might as well talk about my thoughts on the other movies in the Shrek series. I'll be quick on them. First Shrek movie I think is great. Shrek 2 I think is even better. I think that's the best film in the entire series. Shrek the Third, worst film in the series. That movie is just a bad movie on so many levels. Shrek Forever After, I think, is a better conclusion to the series than Shrek the Third is. But it still has some flaws to it, but it definitely feels like a much better film than Shrek the Third did. And the first Puss in Boots spin-off film I thought was alright. I didn't think it was anything too spectacular. I didn't think it was anything too crazy, but I enjoyed it for what it was. And so, seeing that this movie was finally coming, and the fact that it took over 10 years to get it made, you know me and my feeling about sequels that come way after the year, is like decades after the original film's release. Most of the time, they're not very good, but every once in a while you get that little bit of a gem that's actually kind of good. Like last year, we had Top Gun Maverick, and for example. So, going into this movie, I had a lot of concerns. I thought the trailers looked pretty cool. I definitely liked the animation style to it. I thought it was radically different for this new push that I feel like Dreamworks is trying to push onto here, because they did the same kind of slick animation style with the bad guys, and actually it turns out the inspiration of the film's animation style actually came from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Not only that, but also Akira, which definitely makes a lot of sense. In this movie in particular, they do that to give the film kind of a style that resembles mostly storybook illustrations, rather than using the more realistic style of the Shrek films. And they decided to go with a painterly style design to give the film a new kind of fairy tale world type of look with the technology. And it definitely shows in the previews for this and the movie itself, which, you know, this is one of those movies where I really wish I had seen it before I had done my top 10 list, because this would have easily been in my top 10 for one of the best movies of the year. This movie is amazing. Like, it's actually amazing. Like, I was shocked at how good this movie was. I kept hearing everybody keep telling me that, no, you gotta see the movie. It's amazing. It's definitely one of the best things to come out of the Shrek series. It's just such a fantastic film on so many levels. And, you know what? They were really right. They were really right on that. But not only that, this movie really shattered a lot of my expectations for it, because, you know, these movies, you know, like I said, I like the first Puss in Boots movie. I didn't love it. I thought it was just an okay film. I thought this movie really wowed me with what they were able to do here. You basically have a story where Puss in Boots, he's going on a journey to find this magical last wish by the wishing star, teaming up with his friends, Kitty Softpaws from the original film, and this new character named Perito, when he realizes that he only has one life left to live after he has lost a lot of his 8 lives of fighting these enemies. And they have these different enemies in this movie, including Goldilocks, Big Jack Horner, and Death in this movie, who plan to hunt him down and essentially do the job for him. But there's just so much about this movie I love. For one thing, the animation style is fantastic. It's a very unique style, and it leads to some creative and fun bits of animation and action sequences. Like, you probably have seen the "Hey, you want to see something cool" meme, which is part of a really cool action sequence, and it's a funny little thing. As you've seen on the channel, I've kind of overused the whole concept of that with the various clips I put in there, but I think it's a funny concept, and I think it leads to a lot of cool action in the movie, that the animation style that they have working here. And the villains in this movie are actually pretty fun, especially Death in this movie, played by I believe it's Wagner Mora, I think it is. Yeah, Wagner Mora. What's great about him, he has sort of a feel of... He kind of reminds me a lot of Judge Doom in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Like, you know he's a bad guy, but when you realize who he actually is, what he actually is by the end of the movie, like, he becomes more of a formidable threat. Like, I love how in this movie he's scattered all about the movie. You have to really look close in the background. You can actually see him in the background before he even meets any of the characters, the main characters. And it's just the fun. This guy looks like he's having a fun time playing this role, and the role, the look of this character looks so cool. It's like it's one of the most badass villains DreamWorks has had in a long time. Probably one of the best villains I've seen in an animated film in a long, long time. One of the things I also really liked about this movie is that there is the sense of realism in some of the situations here. Like, they do a really good job examining like anxiety attacks and all that type. There's a great scene where Puss is having this panic attack, and the dog character in here, Perito, comforts him, like stands next to him as you hear like the heart beating and all that, and like as soon as he puts his head next to his stomach, Puss's heart starts to like go back down a little bit. He gets away from the anxiety attack, and I like that sense of realism that they have in here. It's done very well. The action and the story overall is very well done. The voice acting works really well. The comedy overall is very, very funny. It takes a lot of sense of realism in here, and it's a very surprising thing for a movie like this. Like, it's amazing what they were able to do here, and there actually is a lot of effort being put into this movie that actually stands out very well. Give a lot of credit to this director, Joel Crawford, who also did The Croods: A New Age, which was actually a pretty decent sequel to The Croods. And supposedly he's going to do Kung Fu Panda 4, and if he's going to do it in the same kind of style, or hell, work with the style that they have for the Kung Fu Panda films, that film could be pretty amazing. It could be pretty... And granted, it could be pretty pointless for a series that, for the most part, the first 3 films alone work pretty well, but if it actually works out pretty well with him as a director, it will be worth it in the end. Like, I think it very well will be worth it. I don't really think I need to go too much more into it, because honestly, most of what I could say is that it's everything that everybody else has been saying. This is actually a pretty fantastic film, animation-wise, story-wise, visuals-wise, action-wise, acting-wise, comedy-wise. It just works on so many levels. It's one of DreamWorks' best films I've seen in a very long time, and really, this could have been one of my favorite movies of the year had I seen it before I made my list. This is one of those movies I wish I had the opportunity to go back to and actually see it then, so I could put it on my list. But yeah, like I said before, great film, fantastic film, one of the best films from last year. Definitely giving it a big thumbs up. So if you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and check it out. I think you'll be just as surprised as I was. So yeah, that's gonna wrap it up here. Thank you for watching this episode. I'll see you guys next time for another episode. So thank you for watching. See you next time, and until then, as always, take care.